Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Zach and I are doing a discussion over Wayfarers of the South Tigris, which for some reason we just completely never did a discussion for.
The first time?
The first time.
Yep.
I don't remember why, because this actually did make my top 10 of...
Oh, really?
It was like 9 or 10, it like just inked in of last year.
Because I remember the last time we played it, I didn't feel like either one of us really enjoyed it that time.
No, I liked it back then, but I think, I remember you not caring too much for it just because of the iconography, and I also felt like it was taught poorly.
So it wasn't as much the iconography, because like all the South, North, West, East games, they're all heavy in the iconography. It's things like, and again, I had the same problem this time. Mm-hmm. I go to try to find anywhere to get provisions, and there's one spot and one spot on your board.
Yeah.
And they only give you 2. And again, if you don't top deck a card that's going to give you some way to do it in other forms from something, there's no other ways. And again, there's no real chance that, I'm looking at tons of cards, and none of them give you provisions.
So...
And again, and this is where, like, we had lots of cards that were giving us coins. And I think, like, last time it was almost the opposite. We had lots of cards that give you provisions.
Yeah.
And, again, it's one of those things where, like, I had something that was going to double score ability, but I needed provisions to do it. And I'm looking around, I was like, okay, this just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I feel like I am one of, like, a player that doesn't suffer from AP at all. You've played many games with me that I'm never one that's sitting here going, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Because normally it's like, got it, I'm going to try this strategy, or I can see cards that are out there and be like, okay, I can try this, this, and this, and we'll just see if it works. Whether I win or not, I'm like, I can try it. Even Vila Lasarda games I can play and be like, okay, I'm going to try this avenue.
Right.
This game really just makes me look at all the options, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where to start, because it's like every time you want to do one thing, you have to do something before that. It's like I want to place this one die. Before I do that, I have to do 3 other things. I got to do 3 other things, which is typically a sign of a good Euro, but a Euro builds up to that.
Yeah.
Where you can be like, okay, I want to get this space card. Okay, well, to do that, I need to get 3 coins. To get 3 coins, I need to do this. So basically, the only thing I can do on my turn is waste this 1 die to get 2 coins.
Yep.
All right, I got the coins, and it's like everything just feels super tight.
Yep.
But not cohesive in any way.
Right.
And I'm not comparing this to the West Kingdom games, because it is its own trilogy. In fact, at the time of this recording, the second one of the South Tigris games just came out. But I feel like almost this should have been like the last one. This should have been the 3rd one.
Well, and so again, I'm
gonna
maybe
quit messing with these because it'll just be picked up on the mic.
One of the things that, because again, comparing them to others of his games, and this is where I actually didn't enjoy this one as much, is so worker placement spots are also cards, so you get workers back by buying cards.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to buy cards, and so it's also the spots that basically get filled up for your resources. And you have very limited spots to go get resources. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, like, we saw multiple times where, like, all of these guys kind of were pointless to get.
Yeah.
But there's no way to refresh that. There's no way to just say... Because, like, most of his other games, there are times where it forces breaks, and so you clean things up when that breaks.
Yep.
Well, there's no way to break it unless someone buys it, but it's expensive to buy it.
I mean, the incentive would be, because green are really good, because they're typically the best actions, but it's like, well, you can only like, if I want to put influence on those 3 guilds, I can only place a green token there once, but if I don't want to buy that, because I can't buy that, because I can't place that anywhere, because none of that icon showed up for me to get, I felt like that's where the influence on cards thing.
Yeah.
But that like incentivizes other players to not go there because that costs them a coin, which a coin is a lot.
Is valuable.
And this was one of those games that after the end, like, don't get me wrong, I love the theme. I love the cartography, like, land and sea. It looks great. But when all was said and done, like, I was for sure, like, I was like, I lost. Like, this entire game, I felt like I was just, like, it wasn't until the very end where I was like, finally, I'm okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Oh, wait, the game's over because it's, because you as a player rush in. That happened last time we played this too, where it was just like one person is just going to rush the game. And I typically like games that have, like, the players dictate the speed, but it's like, should I end it? Can I win if I end it?
Right.
But this entire time, I was like, I don't know. I don't know how well I'm doing it. This is going to sound super mean, but I feel like this is how Brett feels in a lot of games, where it's just like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, and I just hope something works. And that's how I was like this entire time until literally the end, where I was like, finally, like, I'm getting it. I got more dice, which means I can, and I got, it's almost like you want to, you you build, like, the meta, where it's like, you build your caravan.
Right.
So that your dice basically are wilds the entire time.
Right.
But that's boring. That's where you started. I was like, I'll try something different.
Right, and so, like, literally, I got to the point where 2s through 5s were anything but a 1.
Oh, right. Right, yeah, and that's kind of where we diversified, where it's like, you went for dice to be any symbol, which is what you should want to do in this game. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for the space cards and try and get, I mean, the first space card I got was like a point for every mountain.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, that's all that's out,
Right.
so I'll do that. And then it's like, oh, there's a bunch of stars, so I can inspiration that and times 2 it. And that was going to be my whole goal. And funny enough, I mean, I still got 6 points off of it, but like, I thought it was going to be way more.
Right.
And I barely even touched that. In fact, I went more in the sea route and then got cards that were good for guilds.
Right. Yeah.
And then, so then the tokens I got were the ones that were 5-pointers.
Right.
And the other thing about this game is, like, because it's basically dictated on player speed and kind of luck of the draw, I feel like players are going to be able to journal way easier than others. Like, yeah, technically, I did get a planet. I specifically got this planet so that I could skip down here so I can get the symbols I needed.
Right.
And that was a choice that ended up working, but when I win a game, I want to feel like I earned it. I don't feel like I earned it. I felt like it just happened to be like, oh, I guess I got more points.
Yeah, I knew speed rushing, because I didn't have to end it then, because realistically, I was winning the meteor race, and a lot of these pointer ones come out from meteors, and it's like, I have 5 more spaces for meteors, which is another 20 points easily.
Right.
And again, because basically everything was whatever I wanted it to be, I could just go get more telescopes.
Yeah, exactly. And I was basically hosed. I was here, so it's like I needed fucking 1 more meteor.
Right.
But at the same time, I was like, well, I want to double this, so I need stars.
Right.
It's just everything you want to do just feels like it's so much effort.
So again, going to the iconography. So you have the 4 main ones, right?
Yeah.
But then on top of that, I think there's like another 4 or 5 secondary ones. So you have the different space ones.
Yeah.
But then you have on the actual land ones, you have observatories and books.
Yeah. The temple looking things.
The temple looking things. That's one of the still primaries. So that's one of the 4 primaries.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But again, you have so many. A lot of things are like, well, but you need all these different icons. It's like, well, unless you're kind of planning out ahead of time of what path you're taking, you're kind of going to get burned.
Yeah.
Or it's like, I kind of got lucky because I was going to go beaches and then I realized, oh, I actually already have 2 water upgrade tiles on here, so I can skip ahead, and I've already been going for these, so I'm good there, and I happen to have tons of meteors, so I can pop there. And I bought lots of cards that had the inkwells, and I was hitting inkwells at least 2 around to try to speed through it.
Which is funny because it's like, whenever you went up, I was like, he's probably going to end it.
Yeah.
Because I had the yellow guild, you had the blue guild, and I had the black guild, and then you pushed forward, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. He should end it, and then you tied it, and ties do nothing.
Right.
But funny enough, I was going to get one more meteor, and after that, it was smooth sailing for me. 3 meteors gets me here. I have the 4 beaches, which I could spend a black to get.
You have 3 meteors right now.
Well, now I do. I got that last.
Got
at the
it.
end. That was my last turn. But I didn't have that, but I had the meteor here and here.
Right,
So I just needed one more. So if I went here, I could have gone here, then I had the stars to go there, then I had this. So it's like, but like the journal thing, you can just get pigeonholed.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then everyone else is like, oh, look at me. I get the green worker. Oh, I get extra bonus. I get a bonus. And then it's like, oh, look, I get the guild control.
Right.
I also get, it's like, imagine if I ended the game, though, because then if I started and I ended the game, I actually get one more turn than you.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah, I do.
Like, you ended the game, so it was even turns, which it was funny because I was really salty about it. Then you're like, well, we got even turns. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Just now, if I ended the game, I get one extra turn than you.
Right.
How is that fair? Imagine if I did the exact same thing and I wrestled control from that for you.
Right.
Like, I ended it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go down here, get 2, and on my very last turn, I'm going to get 2 more.
Yep.
And then you're like, well, there's nothing I can do about that. You're right, there isn't.
Nothing.
And it's just like, well, I ended the game in the time where it felt like everyone's engines were finally going off, even though I never really feel like this is an engine kind of game. Every now and then it's like, oh, I place a star token down. That allows me to get a provision, place an influence on a card.
So the only thing that I thought was my engine was I got this one card to do rest that gave me an extra 2 coins every time I rest.
Yeah.
That was it. That was my engine.
Right. And I do like the rest action because it prevents, if you do get a lot of citizens that have rest abilities, you can't just keep resting. You have to have 0 or 1 die left.
Right.
It prevents that.
Which again, the faster you go up, the more dice you have, which means it's going to be longer between rests.
Yeah,
if you want to get the bonuses.
Yes.
If you don't care about the bonus, like at some point I was starting like, I got so much money, I don't know that I care too much because money again is for buying upgrade tokens, and I didn't need upgrade tokens because my caravan was full.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, because everything else costs provisions. And I'm like, I want to spend money on things. Can I not trade money for provisions somewhere?
And that's the thing is like in the, I guess I will compare it to the West Kingdom games, they have coins and provisions. Those are like your only 2 things, but it never...
In all of his games, that's what it is.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I'm glad he didn't add anything more, but in those games, I never feel like I want for those, or if I do, that it's like a big pain in the ass to get.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have the caravan thing where you can actively take, okay, I'm going to take this one, which means that if I do a provision action with that die, it costs 1 less.
Right.
But that's only that 1 action.
Right.
Because there's no way to organize these in a way that makes it, like, free.
Right.
You know, there's ways to do it where it's like, ooh, like your 3s are now 2 sailboats. That's really good.
Right.
And I like the guild abilities where, like, my thing was I had a lot of die manipulation, so it's like if I rolled a 2 and a 4, I could upgrade those to 2 3s, spend a guild and my 3, which is a boat, to then go here, get a lot of money, and then go here and go for guild control of black and yellow, which was what I was going for. So, I mean, eventually the things that I wanted to do worked, but it was so much effort, and by the time I felt satisfied, like, where I was like, okay, now I got it, the game was over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that was annoying. And again, it's like, I don't think this game is, like, poorly designed or anything. It's just, I don't like the fact that I can't necessarily formulate a strategy from the get-go. Like, your very first action is...
it is what it is.
Yeah. There's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 cards open. And it's like... I mean, technically, you just kind of pick if you want to...
It's somewhat based on your dice roll, because if you don't... For instance, I had 6, so I was able to immediately upgrade, because I also had 4. And I was like, okay, that 4 now gives me a bird, a camel, and a boat instantaneously.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why, like, my second one I bought made 3s into 4s, and that was kind of my vision. It was like, okay, now I have 3s and 4s that basically can do almost everything that I need on my board.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good because, again, there's lots of ways to die manipulate. Well, getting in almost anything to either a 3 or a 4 is a pretty wide scale.
Yeah, no, I mean, your entire strategy is kind of what I feel like the game wanted it to be.
Yep.
And this is one, you know how Paladins and Viscounts both have expansions. This one doesn't need one.
No.
Like, there's so many, like, there's so many cards and so many decks. I mean, 5 different decks.
Yeah, they have upkeep and manage, and yeah.
And scoring even is kind of a headache at the very end because it's like, okay, well, now it's based off sets of the 4
specific icons.
Then, it's set of 4 different ones.
Yep.
And then you have your space ones, which are all kind of
like...
like...
is it based also on different ones?
Yeah, for 4 different... Yeah, that's the very final one. So if you have a set of 4...
Oh, I didn't add those up.
How many do you have?
So I have...
the 4, if you have 1 set of each.
Yeah, so I definitely have 1... I only have 1 because I only have 1 of the beaches.
Okay, so you had
so
30,
another 5
42.
Points. Yeah.
So 42 to, 46?
Yeah.
I don't have a beach, which sucked, again, because it's like, I need a beach, and I know you can technically, draw 3 and hope you get it. There they are.
So I did that, like, again, kind of funnily. I did that and got one that had 3 different icons on it.
Go figure.
And I was like, yep, that'll work out.
Yeah. Right, and it's like, because the Enforcer over there, I mean, I only wanted that one so I could get the green taken off of it, so I could do that green again to place influence on all 3 guilds again.
Right.
But it's like, oh, none of the 3 have that sunset location.
Yep.
Oh, wait, to even draw from the top, I need 3 provisions.
And that's where I kind of wonder, because it has the bird/provision, and I'm trying to figure out if you place it on a bird, if you place a bird die.
Yeah,
I can't figure out what that is for.
It's it does say it in here. Where is that? Also, this rulebook's like very difficult if you ever want to find
Again, there's just
something
a lot.
specific. Yeah, I do remember seeing that exact.
Because again, it has to explain all 5 different deck location spots.
Right.
Plus then your player board. Plus then the ink, like the mapping out progress on that. And so there's just a lot in it. And it's not, again, I look at his games and they progressively become more and more and more.
Right.
Which makes me really kind of a little worried about East. His East series, because he's done North, West, and now South, and he's going to do East.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Well, he's got to finish out the South series.
But that's what... So like he does 1 game a year for 3 years, and then he does the next one.
Gotcha.
And so, like, we still have 4+ years before it's all done. But they keep getting more and more complex.
Right.
What's East going to be at that point? Like Savant level game?
Yeah, because he has... right. Because he has that Ezra and Nirahim or whatever game, I think that's coming out. I don't know anything about it. I was like, I don't care. I mean, I believe his team did Hadrian's Wall as well. I think that's Garfield.
I think so.
Which is an insane roll and write.
Yeah. And he did like Raiders of Scythia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's... Yep, yeah, which I haven't played.
It's a little bit better than one of the Northern Sea ones.
Yeah, I think my biggest gripe with this game is the fact that it just causes so much AP
Yeah.
that I don't find any action satisfying. I'm actually frustrated.
Right.
Because I don't like to sit here and be like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have all my dice. I have these colored workers. No idea. No idea what strategy to go for. Until it's almost like you just kind of start picking cards and then you're like, oh, okay, now I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I just feel like all of his other games just kind of have a natural kickoff point.
Yeah.
And that could just be, I mean, No, because I never had this feeling about Paladins or Viscounts when I even first played that. I don't like Architects, but I've also only played it at 3, so I'm sure that's better with more people.
Yeah.
I also don't necessarily like the gimmick of that one, because it's like, anytime that things could get cool, no one's going to let you be cool. Like, it's like, no one's going to let you have 5 workers in a spot. There's no way.
Yeah, 5 is pretty high.
So it's like the whole gimmick of having all the workers is neat, but then it's like no one's going to ever let you, so you always feel hindered. It's like,
Yeah, and that one, yeah. To me, honestly, like, that one always has felt more, you have to optimize. So, like, putting 5 workers in one spot almost never is worth it for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting too much of one resource, and I need too much diversification.
Yeah, that's true.
It's when someone honestly gets, like, 4, it's like, that's money right there.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is just one of his series. Like, this is a game that you just play a ton of.
Yeah.
Like, and then there are people out there who are probably, like, whizzes at this and can see, like, the setup of 20 cards and be like, I need that card, that's going to go great with that card, that's going to go great with that inspiration, that's going to be an awesome citizen, so whenever I rest, I can do this. And that's great.
Right.
I don't have the time to play a game that much, nor do I want to put in that much effort into a game like this.
Right.
I like to play my Euro games and be like, I'll try this strategy, and hope that it works.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I think if I were to talk about like a big negative, I would actually rather him just completely gut these workers. I don't think these workers need to be in this game. I think everything else could have been about tableau and dice.
Yep.
Don't have workers be just places like just pawns that you place on the spot to do an action.
That then takes up the spot.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I placed the yellow there, so that lets me get 2 coins and put an inspiration on a guild.
I mean, because honestly, what you could have done, and I think this will probably, action that you said, I think could have improved upon. You place your die there. Their die values.
Yeah.
Just that die. Again, you're building tableau. It holds the spot until you pull back, until you rest. Then it opens the spot for everyone else.
Exactly.
And it's a way for it to clean up. A natural cleanup, which is one of my problems that I stated earlier.
Yeah.
There's no natural cleanup.
Right, because, I mean, at its core, it is a die worker placement game, and every die worker placement game is based off the value of the die. You can go to certain locations, get certain resources, do certain actions until it's like Kingsburg, if you ever played that, or, I mean, that's just one that comes to mind, where it's like, I'm going to place here so I can get these resources. That spot's taken up until I pull them back.
Right.
Because even then, it's like the worker doesn't necessarily... I mean, it does take that spot from someone else placing a similar color. But I've also played this game where a person just had a shit ton of workers. Yep. And it's like, how do I get workers? Well, I have to play them. Okay.
Right. And if you don't play them, then it doesn't matter.
Right. Because resting is only based off your dice, so you can just hold on to workers. But yeah, because there's no natural pool for workers to go to, that's why there's no cleanup of cycling cards out, because where the workers go.
Right.
The placing influence on the spot is stupid.
Yeah.
I really don't like that, because there are so many actions that let you do that, but it's like, well, I have all my influence tied in the guild, so I don't have any more, because they're placed on cards. Like, all it's doing is kind of blocking you from going there.
Yeah. But again, if it's not on a card that you want eventually, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, especially when there's 20 available, and I'm looking, and it's like I have to be like, oh, what does he want? What does he want? Oh, let me look at the 40 things you got.
See, I don't even look at what I want, or what you want. I put on ones that I want just to discourage you from taking it.
I mean, 6 of 1.
It.
Like, it's like, okay, I could try and guess what you want, or do the same thing of discouraging, and so that it's like, I know I want that. So maybe you won't take it from me.
I mean, again, I think it's kind of to the point, like, it's too much work to try and figure out my board and try and figure out what you're going to do.
That's true. I mean,
board.
that's the easier way. I knew you were going for meteors at one point. Right. I think you had to pay me like twice to take it. It's more of just kind of like, hell, even you had one on a spot that I wanted the bonus.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I got a lot of money now, so... Because if you're going to spend the money, one extra coin doesn't really feel like it's that big of a deal, so it's just...
Not 5 coins already.
That's true, yeah. And I was like, I really need that extra extra pink tile. So, yeah, completely got the workers from this game, because they just add a nuisance. I feel like this game would work way smoother if you just used dice in an extra way of being able to be like... Because, like, multi-use dice would be... I mean, they already are that.
Yeah.
You can either make them wilds for various icons, or you can be like, I want to place them there to get extra, like, money or extra resources.
Yep.
Because you're limited on dice anyway. I mean, at max, you're getting 5.
Right. And to me, that's the thing, is it just naturally would clean it up. And the cards are still there, so you still can buy the cards at any time.
Yeah.
But that's what it is now.
Yeah.
Because that's the weird thing to me is, like, over here, your cards have a cost value to them. But pretty much everywhere else, like, you just buy them by doing an action. But everywhere else, the cards are just sitting there as a spot to be filled with workers.
With workers, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Versus just having a tableau that you buy a card from. You have an action that buys cards.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, honestly, because otherwise, like, these are not associated costs in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, those are special actions based off the color of the meeple that goes there. And it's also like, okay, well, greens are obviously the best one because they can go anywhere.
Right.
So you're incentivized to rest so you can journal, or spend a guild action to journal even further so you can be the one that gets the green meeple. But you could also just be like, oh, I got them, I'm never going to use them.
Right. Or even, like, again, it's on this card. Am I really going to spend a die to go buy a green card that has no value added to me?
Exactly. And yeah, take up a slot that goes underneath it for its piddly, fucky fuck action.
Right.
Like, oh, the Vagrant gives me a camel icon. Oh, cool.
Yep.
And in my case, if I had gotten that, I mean, same for you, it's like I would have gotten 1 extra point.
Right.
Like, so it's all of this work, and then you math it out at the very end, and then it's like, not only do I have to add all these up, now I have to do multiplication with my inspiration by checking all the signs, and, okay, I did that, and I got 1 extra point from all that work.
Yep. No. It's fine.
Yeah, like, it is unique. I will say that. But if I'm gonna play any of his games, it's easily Paladins and Viscounts.
Yeah,
like,
those are my two go-to.
Those games are just, far and away superior. And this game is a freaking bear to teach.
It's better to teach.
Like, if you have new icons and then just like...
Yeah, it's just rougher.
It feels like it needed more time to be polished. I don't see anyone talking about this game, though. That's the thing, is like, I remember obviously when it came out, and it's a Shem Phillips game. It's a new in the South Tigris, and it's like, oh yeah, like, this has so much stuff to it. Like, the land or the sea and then the sky and all that. And it's like, yeah, that's all neat.
I mean, I remember when it came on Kickstarter, and I looked at it, it's like, man, that's a lot.
Right, but you go with the name of the designer of the company, and you're like, it has to be good. All the West Kingdom games, they're all great. I mean, I'm in the minority on Architects. Everyone loves that. But...
Well, everybody likes it, but it's still third for most people's on those 3 lists.
Yeah, I think Paladins usually wins out.
Paladins and Viscounts are very flip-floppy depending on people, but yeah.
I mean, you could tell because it's been supported with expansions.
Yeah.
All 3 of them.
Right.
Now, who knows if he's doing that with this one. Please don't.
See, I think he might, because I look at the North Seas and he did that too. He put expansions on the North Seas. Right. So my gut reaction is they'll put expansions. What it is, my problem is it's just going to be more. Because that's what all of them do, is it just is more. And part of the thing is, like, before, for all of his games, it's more, but they didn't need, like, polishing. Like, the base game was just already solid.
Yeah, like, the expansions for Viscounts and West Kingdom just kind of made it less tight.
Yeah,
like,
it just gave you more options. For
more
different
options
things.
where it was like you didn't have to do things in a hyper specific way.
Right. That's it.
Exactly.
But again, I'll play the base game, and it still feels good.
Right. Yeah. Which is a shame because it's like I remember like this did whenever we played this last year, I was like, I really like that, and it's crazy how in just 1 year how drastically tastes change. Where it's like, yeah, this actually wouldn't make my top 10 anymore.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving it?
That's 7.
7? That's funny because I was thinking the same thing. But I think I'm actually going to drop it to a 6.
Yep.
Because I don't think I'd want to play it. Like, if someone was like, do you want to play this? I'd probably be like, nah.
So I probably want to play it at least one more time because I did enjoy this playthrough more. I think I understood mechanically a little bit better. Like last time, I felt lost for the first half of the game.
Yeah.
And this time I didn't feel as lost through the game. But it's one of these things where, like, I don't know that the puzzle that I want is here for me to try to solve. Or is it just, you look around and you play what you can, and maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, like, I felt like it was, like, halfway through the game whenever I finally was like, oh, okay, boom, I'm going to use my die, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to aim for guild control, I'm going to get my...
Right.
I mean, I got a system going, but to me, none of it was satisfying, and then the game ended, and I was like I basically got blue-balled.
Yeah.
By the way, the game ends, and then it's like, all right, well, let's add it up, and then it's like, oh, what'd you get? 42. 46.
Yeah.
How did I...
And you're literally halfway back.
Yeah.
Compare to me.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I will say that is a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
you don't, like, it's not one of those where it's like, oh, I'm the one who ended it, so that's guaranteed to win.
Right.
We did have totally different strategies.
Yep.
There is a ton of replayability here. But yeah, I kind of agree. The puzzle, for me, just isn't here that's going to be satisfying in any way. And in fact, I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely going up on that. He has way more caravan stuff. Mm-hmm. Then I was looking over at the inspiration, and it's like, to get inspiration, you either have to get lucky and get a card, or you have to be able to move in and be able to draw one. But I was looking at those, and I was like, I can't do any of those to get the multiplier. There's no way I'm getting 4 books. There's no way. I don't have 2 black and 2 green things.
Yep.
I don't have 3 yellows.
Nope.
And I definitely don't have 8 blue cards. So because those aren't cycling out, I can't try and get more. So I'd have to waste my draw to get rid of it just to get 2 coins or 2 provisions.
And that's, again, I think that is, for me, the whole problem is I need somewhere that I can at least spend an action to discard cards.
Yeah.
To wipe. But again, the problem why you can't do that is where the workers go.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, at first I was kind of like, I was like, okay, as we kept talking, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe it is a 7. No, I'm back down to a 6.
Yep.
So, oh well, it is what it is. Art's great. I actually really like the art, and the reason why is because the citizens, you cover them up, because the Miko's art, his people are grotesque, and I hate them, but I love his scenery.
Yeah, the scenery is really
good. That's his front and center. I'm like, this looks good. And then the people, it's like, oh, God, tuck them under as quickly as possible. Anyway, you got anything else?
Nope.
All right, well, that's our thoughts on Wayfarers of the South Tigris. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.